Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the FrostBytez Gaming Experience Pokemon Blue walkthrough. Looking at part 5 here, we're going to be taking a dive into the Nugget Bridge, as well as taking on every other trainer on the way over to Bill's house. So, of course, you know that can only mean that we're up for about another good 20 parts here. I believe it's exactly how long it is for this video is 20 minutes. 20 whole minutes. So enjoy 20 minutes of my voice as I talk about anything that's actually not Pokemon related, or in some cases or another. I think one of the other more interesting aspects, because so back when I did Pokemon Gold, the way that I would do it is I would sit down, record the part right then and there, and then do the audio immediately after for the daily upload. But considering the fact that I do not have the same kind of free time as I did back then, as stated before, I wanted to make sure that I actually completed this game before doing any of the uploading, or in this case, even doing any of the audio portions for it. So of course that also means that when I go out of my way to watch these, half the time I don't even remember exactly what it is I did. I feel like it gives me a whole entire new movie experience in some kind of sense, where it's like, oh, I don't know exactly what's going to happen next. I'm just as curious as the rest of you guys. I do know that before we take on the Nugget Bridge, we do have a rival fight right before then. One that is very... I remember it when James was doing it as a speed run. It was actually one of the points that we got stuck in for a while, because it all really had to do with, did your rival hit Sand Attack, and did the Sand Attack cause your accuracy to miss your very next attack? And if it did, then you were pretty much stuck there for a good amount of time until you either finally got the kill, or, you know, until you'd have to restart continuously until you finally either A, didn't get hit by the Sand Attack, or B, getting hit by the Sand Attack didn't really amount to much. But due to the speed that Pidgeotto would have, as opposed to the level and speed that a War Turtle would have at this point, because it would just be a War Turtle at that point. Yeah, I mean, even as you can see with the Nidorino at the exact same level, get hit with 1-2 Sand Attacks at this rate, and it's pretty hard to hit just about anything. And I do remember we had to restart. Oh my goodness, I had to go back and rewatch the Pokemon Red speed run. No, yeah, it was Pokemon Red, because we were using his copy, I believe, and I was the one that owned Pokemon Blue while he owned Pokemon Red. But God, yeah, I need to go back and rewatch that, because if I do remember correctly, we did get stuck there for a while and we had to do a couple resets. One of the more interesting ordeals about this fight is going against a level 15 Abra that knows absolutely nothing but teleport, and that's it. So it's kind of just like free experience. Relatively good if you want to get a certain Pokemon up to a certain level. I don't know how much it really helps. I'm pretty sure you might get 1 or 2 levels depending on how low the Pokemon is when you take out the Abra. And of course, our only time I've ever seen the Rattata, leading to a lot of fan theories that once you meet up with your rival in the basically Pokemon graveyard, and he talks about, you know, what it feels like to actually have a Pokemon die. Actually, yeah, I think he does state that after you beat him. People fan theory about the fact that you actually killed his Rattata. No actual evidence backing that up, and if I had to make my own claim in it, it's that a rival have stated before that he's just looking to create the ultimate Pokemon team. Well, last I checked, I don't remember Eradicate ever being a part of any big ultimate Pokemon team. It could be an interesting one. You know, I've always wanted to experiment with the Eradicate, teaching it Super Fang to lower a Pokemon's health exactly 1/2, and then Hyper Fang it immediately after. Problem is, there's just so many Pokemon that just don't really care and will pretty much one-shot you in any case. So, you know, hey, it seemed like a really fun thing, but, you know, at the same time, it's kind of like, yeah, I'm not exactly sure. So here we go. We start on the Nugget Bridge. I believe it is 6 trainers that we have to take out, and then we receive our Nugget, which towards the end of it, we get asked to be recruited to be a Team Rocket member, of which course we refuse, because this is before you could really have an option to do different things inside any kind of game, not even just Pokemon, but just about any kind of game. I don't really recall too many Game Boy games that gave you a whole lot of, like, options as far as dialogue goes, because it's a Game Boy game. Not really a whole lot of dialogue anyways. But yeah, that would always be one interesting thing that I would like to see, is if they ever do, like, another remake of Gen 1 Pokemon, giving you the option to actually wanting to join Team Rocket. I know they won't, because it's like, oh, we don't want to actually, you know, have an option to encourage kids that, yeah, it's cool to join a gang that essentially, you know, abuses animals in a bunch of, you know, night fights and all that kind of stuff. But, yeah, always seemed like a really interesting ideal is to be a part of the Team Rocket member. I do remember there was actually a hack someone did on one of the Pokemon games. I don't remember which generation it was. I want to say it was called Pokemon R, where the entire time you're training to be a Team Rocket member. And the Elite Four was like an elite training ground to essentially become like one of the higher up elites. You go against certain elites, all ending with the champion, essentially Giovanni. And when you do the Giovanni fight, if I remember from the videos that I saw, he actually has Pokemon that I believe are like level 95 and up, if I'm not mistaken. And he does have a level 100. I don't remember exactly what the Pokemon was. It might have been Kangaskhan? Oh, was it Persian? Because I remember they tried to do it based off of the Pokemon anime, and it might have actually been the Persian that was level 100 in that game. Not 100% sure. If anyone knows what I'm talking about, comment, let me know. Even though, more than likely, once I'm done recording this, I could probably just look up the video in my entirety, but hey, you gotta fish out for them comments whenever you can. Am I right, guys? Yeah, you guys know I'm right. Oy vey. But yeah, it was actually a really interesting concept. I never got the chance to play it. Surprisingly, I haven't played a whole lot of Pokemon ROM hacks. I remember playing a Pokemon League of Legends ROM hack that originally was going to be my first comeback series. Before I even thought about doing Dead Cells later on, and then ultimately ended up being Batman Arkham Asylum. I originally wanted to do the Pokemon League of Legends ROM hack because I guess I always just kind of found it funny. It was just combining like two things that I was like, well, combining one thing that I was most known for in YouTube, you know, is basically Pokemon that's not Dragon Ball Z related, but then also mixed in the game that essentially was one of the main reasons why I had been away from YouTube for so long in League of Legends. Interesting ROM hack. I didn't really get that far because I just couldn't get myself engaged with it. I felt whoever made it did a really good job, actually, but I don't know, it just wasn't enough to make me want to, like, go out of my way and full-on play it, really. I don't know exactly why that was. I think it was because, you know, League, you've only got 4 moves and a passive, and so when you translate that to Pokemon, where it's only, you know, 4 moves, it's kind of hard to do that. And I think one of them is like you could do like certain like auto. It was so weird. I was trying my best to like really get myself into it, but I just couldn't whatsoever. I felt like if I was ever, because like I mean, it was a full-on hack. Oh, here's a guy that tries to have us join Team Rocket. That's right. It's 5 members, and then once you get it, then the 6th member fights you, and then in gold, the guy just wants to fight you just to test your strength. No, wait. I think there was a 6th guy that was looking to take advantage of the fact that your Pokemon weren't at full HP, and then you went against somebody that then decided, okay, now let me just see how strong you were. I might be misremembering. It's been so long since I played Gen 2, even in the Heart Gold Soul Silver remake versions. It's been so many years. I don't actually remember. I can only commit so many things to memory in my life, and, you know, even Pokemon, with how much I love it, is also just not one that I can really commit everything to. Now that I think about it, and I know I'm thinking about this super late, but I don't think it's going to mean a whole lot, but I did completely forget to turn the volume down on the Windows player. Because, yeah, I'm pretty sure I explained this before, but essentially what I did was I would just record myself playing Pokemon Blue, and then I went on my way to do all the editing and make a smaller video that I would watch and then do commentary for, and that's essentially how I do my post commentary. When I did the first 4 videos, I felt like I had to lower the volume of the Windows media player so that the music didn't drown me out, which I don't think it really would anyways, because when I originally did the recording of it, I think I already set the volume down to like 25%, because if you don't, the Visual Boy Advance can get super loud in the midst of playing super hot. It can get super loud. But anyways, no, it can get really loud, and I usually set it to about 25% volume. So I think even though I have it on max volume right now, it's still only like 25% of the actual like game volume itself. And I do remember thinking back at parts 1 through 4 how the audio of the game was actually relatively soft in comparison to my voice. So I guess I'm just gonna go ahead and use this as a test and see how it goes. I'm not gonna redo the post commentary for this part because I feel like I am close to death. I am so tired right now. I don't know exactly why either. It's not even that late out. I've just been getting so tired lately. I've been having to do a lot of like projects. It's been having me sit for a good portion of time, and I've also been doing a lot of yard work on top of that. So I'm just combining 2 types of tired, of getting physically tired from the yard work, but then also getting just mentally tired from just kind of sitting on my computer getting projects done. And it's like I need to walk around and wake up a bit. But yeah, I really hope that the audio isn't too loud in comparison to my voice, because I would really hate to have to redo this 20-minute part. Oh my goodness, I don't know if I could do it. I would just have to wait till the very next day in order to take care of that. And I want to do all 5 parts tonight, so I can, because I'm actually running a little bit behind. It's been, May is like the busiest month out of the year for me. Which, you know, is one of the reasons why I originally thought about waiting till the summer to start coming back to YouTube. But I had such a good log of videos already recorded up to the point where I hit in March that I felt, yeah, I'd be completely okay. But yeah, of course, you know, now I'm just like, oh my goodness, like May has been so hectic going on that right now it's Wednesday, and I'm just getting to the audio portions of this, and usually by Wednesday I already have all of the following week's parts already wended. I've already got them wended, guys, you know. I'm a thud up in here and all that stuff. No, I usually have all my YouTube parts already rendered and ready to upload by about Wednesday's point, and here I am only now getting to doing the actual commentary for it. So I'm running a little bit behind, you know, but I'm not gonna miss a week. I'm gonna make damn well sure that I get this. So I took my time, as you just saw right there, making sure that I didn't overstep, and there's a reason for that. There's a reason that we're going to be ignoring that trainer up there. You guys will see it obviously in the next part. There's probably some people that already know why it is that I'm leaving that trainer up there, but, you know, in case someone doesn't, I'm not gonna spoil it, you know, until the next part, because even just the title of the next part is going to basically explain why we leave that guy there. But believe me, you know, it's not because I forgot about him. So if you're one of the rare people out there that have never played Pokemon Gen 1, and you're using this as like a guide for yourself, don't think that I just accidentally forgot that guy and then I'm going to go back. If you want to do what it is I'm going to be showing that you can do in the next video, ignore that trainer for the time being. Oh boy, I think we got like another 4 trainers to go. Oh, I sure hope so. Anyways, so I've been going on a huge tangent so far, and I'm just now remembering that there's actually some Pokemon statistics that we can actually go over. So on Nugget Bridge, on the left side of it is a whole entire patch of grass that you can run into, and with it obviously comes some Pokemon and some stats with that. So Caterpie in the blue version, 25% chance of catching, with Metapod in the blue version only 15% chance of catching, Weedle in the red version only 25% chance of catching, and Kakuna 15% chance of catching. Pidgey in both red and blue versions, 20% chance of catching it, while in the yellow version it's a 29% chance, with a 1% chance you can get yourself a Pidgeotto. Red version only, 25% chance you can get an Oddish, and yellow, 35% chance you get an Oddish, so basically just non-blue, not red only, but non-blue anyways. Yellow version only, 10% chance to catch a Venonat. Red and blue versions, 15% chance to catch an Abra. Blue version, 25% chance to catch a Bellsprout, and yellow version, 25% chance to catch a Bellsprout. By this point, if you do have the fishing rod, you can get 100% chance of catching a Magikarp, which is the old rod. Good rod, 50% chance to get a Poliwag with a 50% chance of getting a Goldeen. And with the super rod, you have a 33% chance of getting a Psyduck, 33% chance of getting a Krabby, 33% chance of getting a Goldeen. And those 3 are red and blue versions only. In the yellow version, it is a 90% chance of catching a Goldeen, not Coldeen. That's probably what they call the really weak Goldeens, is a Coldeen. It's like, you got a little cold there, Coldeen? Anyways, 90% chance to get a Goldeen, a 10% chance of getting a Seaking. And there is also a gift Pokemon you can get. You can get yourself a Charmander in the yellow version at this point by talking to somebody, because when you're playing the yellow version where you start with a Pikachu, you can actually get the original 3 starters by talking to a certain individual, and they'll give it to you. I can't remember if there's like a certain recommendation, like a certain requirement that has to be met in order to get all 3 of the starting Pokemon in the areas that you get them in. I don't 100% know. You'd have to look that up. And then up here on Route 25, being, you know, separate, there's another patch of grass. You guys would have seen it when I went on my way to get the item in that hilltop looking area. In the patch of grass, you can get yourself a Caterpie in the red version, a 1% chance with a 25% chance in the blue version. Metapod, 4% chance in the red version with a 15% chance in the blue version. Found that a little bit odd that the Metapod had a higher chance of running into than a Caterpie in the red versions, but what can you do? Weedle, red version, 25% chance with a 1% chance in the blue version. Kakuna, red version, 15% chance with a 4% chance in the blue version. Pidgey, red and blue, 15% chance, and in yellow version, 29% chance with that 1% chance that it is a Pidgeotto. Oddish, red version only, well, red version, 25% chance, and yellow version, 35% chance. Again, I usually say only when I mean the split between the red and blue versions. Venonat, 10% chance, yellow version only. Red and blue versions, Abra, 50% chance, and blue version, Bellsprout, 25% chance with a yellow 25% chance as well. Roughly about the same stats, other than the fact that on Route 25, you could actually catch the opposite bug between the Caterpie and the Weedle, as opposed to Route 24, where you could only catch the one designated for that one game. I don't know why exactly, you know, it's done that way, other than just, why not? You know, every other stat is just about the same. And there's also 2 ponds in front of Bill's house that you can fish in, and I do believe that they are not exactly the same, so let's go through some more stats here. Alright, Old Rod, Magikarp, 100% chance. Basically, if you have an Old Rod, you're catching a Magikarp no matter what, basically. I don't think it's exactly that. I think there are some areas you could fish at later on where an Old Rod can catch you something that's not a Magikarp, but generally beginning, it's just gonna be a Magikarp. Anyways, Good Rod, Poliwag, 50% chance, and Goldeen, other 50% chance. With the Super Rod in the red and blue versions, it's a 33% chance it's a Psyduck, 33% chance it's a Krabby, and 33% chance it's a Goldeen. And the yellow versions, you have a 70% chance of getting a Krabby, and a 30% chance of getting yourself a Kingler, again, with the Super Rod. Is that timed perfectly? Oh, yes, we are coming to the end of part 5, folks, and I'm glad I actually remembered at the very end there about, all of the stats, because I legit completely forgot about it because I was going on such a tangent and my brain was all over the place. I do hope that the audio synced up quite nicely so then I don't have to redo this, but we'll see. If I don't have to redo it, then I'll catch you guys on the next part. Enjoy the rest of your evenings.